Big Love is part of a project that the playwright Charles Mee has called the Remaking Project, and he believes that there are no new plays. He believes that every script, every Shakespeare play is derived from something else, and that artists collect as they go along, reworking art that already exists. So this play is actually based on the oldest play. It's a Greek tragedy called The Suppliant Women by a playwright called Aeschylus. And Charles Mee has taken that as his plot, which is about 50 brides who are engaged to 50 brothers who are the bride's cousins. And this is an arrangement that's made before they were born. And the brides flee the grooms, and then the grooms come after them. And it's about what happens when the grooms come after the brides. So he took that as his source. And then he completely takes it apart and he reworks it and he sets it contemporary, and he throws in bits and pieces of history and judicial theory and bits from the National Enquirer, pop songs, you name it, and he puts it all into this new whole, which at times looks less like a play and more like a piece of performance art or a dance theater piece. Yeah, it's, even though it's based on a tragedy, this play is actually a comedy. It has some tragic overtones to it, but the play itself is a comedy, and the big theme is love trumps all. I knew that I wanted to approach this differently because it wasn't a traditional play. It doesn't follow the traditional dramatic structure. Like I said, it has these moments in it that are sort of these performance art dance moments. So we approached the entire production differently. Rather than having a lighting designer, a set designer, a costume designer, we have a team of production designers, of which I am one of those. And so we have all been collaborating on the look of the set, which works more like an art installation than a traditional theatrical set. We know we're in Italy, but it's more iconic pieces that say Italy to us. As part of that process, I went with the entire production team down to the Museum of Modern Art in San Francisco this summer. And we had a production meeting down there, and we went through the museum and we looked at all the art and we drew inspiration from some of the contemporary artists. One of them was Mark Rothko, who's an abstract expressionist, and we're using his work in the lighting design. And from there, I knew that this piece needed a lot of dance sequences. And about that same time, I got in touch with one of our alumni, Malaysia Estrella, who's now a professional dancer in San Francisco. And he works with the Joe Good Performance Group and a dance group called Project Bandaloop. And Project Bandaloop is actually known for rappelling off of skyscrapers and cliffs like Half Dome in Yosemite. They rappel off and they actually dance horizontally on the cliff. Wow. So he came back into my life, and I knew that I had this kind of crazy show, and I asked if he would be interested in choreographing, because he does a lot of contact improv dance, which is more about actors sort of slamming and hitting the ground and bouncing off of each other than it is something graceful and floaty like ballet. He read the script, he was thrilled, so now he's working as our choreographer, and I don't want to give away everything, all the fun secrets, but let's just say we are using his rappelling skills, and there's going to be some aerial maneuvers in the play. That's a really good question, because Charles Mee writes his script in a way that he sort of leads you through some of the performance art segments in the script, and yet he just gives you a series of evocative images. He doesn't tell you how to make it happen. At one point, which we call extreme things, he says, a bunch of extreme things happen here, like somebody's laying on a bed of nails and people are dropping bowling balls on their chest, and they're lighting their hair on fire, and it's obviously things you can't practically do in the theater, but he's trying to evoke in you, the reader, the director, the production team, this is a different kind of play, and movement is really important, and non-realistic movement is important. So he gave us images as a springboard, and then Malacio and I, and his assistant Jessica, who also dances, Jessica Swanson, who also dances with the Joe Good Performance Group, we started collaborating on what we thought these moments in the play looked like. And I guided them with images, and then Malacio and Jessica sort of ran with it and actually created the movement. Sure. Well, you know, this piece is really interesting because it is a complete ensemble piece. There are the three main brides. It's about 50 brides. Now, we're not going to have 50 brides on stage, but we are going to have a few extras at the end who come on. So we're going to have a pretty large number of brides and grooms. But of that, there are 3 core brides, and then there are the 3 core grooms. And then the rest of the ensemble is filled out by 2 older actors who play multiple roles, and then another young man who actually sings in the show. He sits on top of a piano and sings a song like a torch song. They work incredibly well together as an ensemble, and I've added in an additional 11 performers to fill out the 50 brides for 50 brothers kind of thing. Everyone in the play is doing fantastic work, and I'm just astonished by how brave they are, because when the audience sees this show, they are going to be astonished at how physically demanding and challenging this choreography is. I'm not kidding. One of those moves, I would be like in the hospital for a week. And these actors just fearlessly, over and over and over again, do these complex movement sequences. So I'm so proud of them. I'm just so proud. And we have one actor who, he's playing the role of Constantine, and he is brand new to the theater. And, you know, he got a leading role in the play, and he's just doing a fantastic job. So it's terrific to watch his growth. Well, I'm the chair of the Theater Arts Department, and as such I function as our artistic director for our company, but our plays are actually chosen by committee, so it's my colleagues and I that spend, we spend pretty much the entire academic year prior to that year's season putting together a very complex season. It's this crazy jigsaw puzzle where you're trying to get a mix of styles. So you want plays, you want musicals, you want drama, you want comedy, you want classics, you want new stuff, you want multicultural. Everything has to have big casts. You have to have roles for women. This show can only have a set that's small and has to be built in this period of time. This show can have a big set. So it's all these pieces of this puzzle that we put together. As such, we keep a list of plays that we are constantly considering, and some fall off the list and others get added to the list as the years go by. Big Love was on our list for a number of years, and this particular jigsaw puzzle of the 2011-2012 season just seemed the absolute right time for it. And it's a fun, exciting, poppy, kind of sexy young play to open the season with. I would like to add there is an age warning on the show because there's some nudity. It's what I call practical nudity, which is somebody getting undressed and getting into a bathtub. And there is some strong language. So this isn't a show for young kids. The age warning is 18, but we leave that up to teenagers to decide for themselves.